It was a week of coaching like 3 different women who were just like, I don't feel worthy. This word worthy. Then who are you looking to feel worthy? Who
Right.
are you leaning on? Who's the judge of this? And really they're judging themselves. And
Mhm.
so getting them to switch their mindset of this skill and talent that you have, there are people waiting for you for your
Yeah.
skill. You have a power and a gift inside of you to help other people. And it was just a frustration that, oh my gosh, can't you see how amazing you are? And it really hit on me. I wonder
Mm.
if that's how God is.
Wow.
If he sees us holding ourselves back, like, don't you see how amazing? I made you so amazing. Look at all these gifts I put inside you.
Mhm.
And you're not using them. We're like, Lord, help me. He's like, I did. If you would just look inside yourself.
Welcome back to the She Roars podcast. This is your host, Jenifer. This episode is so special for me because I know many listeners out there are struggling right now in this moment, in this season, especially as we head towards the end of the year. It's about confidence. If you're struggling with having confidence or high self esteem and you're having doubts about yourself or your giftings, like, this is the episode you need to tune in and listen all the way through because I have an amazing speaker and special guest here, and her name is Julee Gracey. And let me introduce you to her. So, she is a best selling author, speaker, and certified business coach who helps women build unshakable confidence and thriving purpose driven businesses. Through her book, Highly Confident, her podcast, and her signature programs equips women to overcome fear, silence, self-doubt, and walk boldly in who God created them to be. She's known for her mix of faith, grit, and humor, reminding women that confidence isn't found in perfection, it's found in your purpose. So welcome, Julie, to the show.
Thank you so much. I love that entrance. I feel like I should have a cape somewhere lying around. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You already have your crown, queen. So we got to say who you are and how beautiful and anointed you are because when I met you at the Powerhouse Summit, which was phenomenal, that you were a guest speaker there as well. And you did your workshop, a little mini coaching session, you can say, with the audience. And I was just so impacted by it. I was like, wow, I need to connect with her and bring her on the show because she has so much wisdom and especially in regards to this area that so many women are struggling in silence. So I want to congratulate on your book launch that is called Highly Confident. Congratulations to that.
Thank you so much. Sometimes God puts a calling on your heart and sometimes you question it. I will tell you, I know we don't question what God, has in store for you. You know what? I admit I do because I'm just like, really, really, Lord, you think that I should be writing a book. Okay. And I was like, you know what? We're going to let that pass. And it just wouldn't go away. It kept in me. It kept in me. I was like, all right, God, I hear your message. And okay. And I started writing this book and I'm grateful that I actually recorded myself talking
Mm.
to camera in frustration about 6 months in, because I was like, who am I writing this book for? What is this book even about? And it was just leaning on God and, having those conversations sometimes when we are stressed or we're frustrated and we're like, okay, Lord, I know you have a plan, but I do not understand what it is. And if you could just help me, please just have any idea of what I'm doing here. Um, and that's how that's how the process went. And so for 2 years, he had me waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and working on this book. And some days I would have pure brilliance and other days I would write not one single word. And
Wow.
it's that it's that leaning on him and having faith. And, again, that can be challenging. But I will tell you, after 2 years, it was like, it was almost maybe like a year and a half in, honestly, where all of a sudden it clicked. I was like,
Wow.
that's who I'm writing this for. And then it became so crystal clear. It's like you suddenly, took the blindfold off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been coaching women on confidence and building their businesses, but it just, somewhere in my brain, it didn't make the connection. And so I am so happy that, he led me down this unknown path as he often
Yes.
does. The path less traveled. It's
Mhm.
like, this seems like a really hard path. Are you sure we shouldn't go the other way? It looks a little easier.
Right.
And so I can say, AI did not write this book. I wrote every single word, and I am so proud to put this out into the world. And it's
Wow.
incredibly humbling, the response that I have gotten from this, where women are coming up to me and they're just like, they were waiting for it. Like, it
Mhm.
almost gives me tears that
Wow.
God knew these women were waiting for this. I didn't know. And now they're getting this, and they're messaging me, and they're calling me, and they're coming up to me in events, and they're just like, Julie, I was waiting. This is what I needed. And that's when you're like, oh, wow, it's okay, Lord, now I see what your plan was for me. And so it's just, I'm honored that sometimes you're like, why me?
Yeah.
Like, God, why is this a dream you put in my heart?
Hmm.
And it's having that faith and trusting that, okay, I woke up this morning, he put air in my lungs. He has a
Yes.
purpose. He has a purpose for me still. And so, yes, I'm very grateful for my book, highly confident, because we should be. We should be so confident in all the things that we
Yes.
do. And even confident, like sometimes I say, I am highly confident that I'm going to fail miserably at this. So, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know who's got my back.
Yes, I love that. I love that you share your journey about the process of the book because it's like giving birth to a baby. It's like giving birth to a new thing, a new vision. Never been to this path before, but you can just feel the labor pains, you feel the contractions, you feel the pushbacks and the tug and war about it. And it just speaks to me as well because I'm thinking about also writing a book like, "Really, Lord? Are you calling me to do this?" Yes, like, there's people waiting on the other side.
Yes, that gives me so many goosebumps because that is it, and if I talk about it too much, I'm gonna cry on your podcast, and I'm not a crier, but
Oh.
that's how deeply you feel it, that
Mhm.
he put this calling on my heart 2 years ago because he knew in 2 years there were going to be women who needed exactly what I have to tell them, and, like,
Wow.
if you don't believe that there is a higher power, I don't know what else you need because yeah, when you think like, what is the plan God has for me? And you're just like, all of a sudden, boom, you're like, oh, gosh, thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
pushing me through the struggle and giving me the willpower to fight through it. And, like I'm just it's almost like I would say it's like a love letter to
Wo
women.
Wow.
Truly. It is, this is like, I love you. God loves you. And I can't reach you personally. I at least can possibly reach you with it. This is another way I can reach you when you
Mhm.
are alone, when you don't feel like you have options, when you're not clear on which way to go. Of course, we always say
Mhm.
lean on the Lord because he's always got your back, but something tangible on this earth that you can touch and feel and read. I'm honored to be able to be that resource for women.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is just so amazing to hear even the testimonies that are coming forth through women that are reading this book and their life are being changed. There is an unlocking that is happening when they felt stuck. Now they're just being awakened to really walk in that true royal identity and confidence in the Lord that once we walk in that, we become unstoppable. So
Yes.
I thank you for your obedience on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is I have back here behind me in my office, there's a quote on my wall, and it says, "It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark." And the funny thing is I have that quote in my office. It's something that I lean on. And that's exactly what he was doing with me. It's building something that you don't know, like, what's ahead of you, but you're trusting and you're preparing. And that is a big thing I say is like, you don't know why, but you have a calling. Like, step toward it because there is an
Yes.
end.
Yes.
Like I said, it wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. You had to do it
Yes.
with pure faith, and that's what this process was. So I'm excited to hear your book because I guarantee if you feel that, yes, I could definitely see that being something you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's gleaning onto him and not on my own understanding because, like you
Yes.
mentioned, Noah, he was building for years the
Yeah.
ark before it rained.
Yeah,
He seemed
absolutely.
crazy. He seemed like people were looking at him like, "You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Like, what are you doing? The
Yeah,
land is
exactly.
drought. There is no rain. And you're still building, and that requires faith."
Yeah, absolutely. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and 6, do not lean on your own understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you have to repeat that over and over in your head for
Yeah,
sure. Like, okay, Lord,
'cause
I'm trusting in
seriously.
you. Uh, it's challenging for sure.
Mhm. Yes, and it makes me think for you, Julie, like, can you take us back to the season that really inspired you in that moment? What personally, like, what you battled or turning point that led you to really write it? Because I know, like you mentioned, like, this was a battle, like, constantly, okay, writing it and then stopping and then just feeling like that self-doubt. Like, when was that turning point and shift for you?
Yeah, I always just say, which maybe isn't the best thing. I tend to, when I get like angry in a frustrated way, that's when I really push forward. So what would happen is I kept coaching these amazing women, woman after woman after woman, brilliant women. These women can run circles around me with how intelligent and brilliant they are, but they were just holding themselves back
Mm,
and they didn't feel worthy. They were looking for permission and they kept it was like a repeating theme. They were like, "Julie, wow, I feel like you gave me permission to actually go after what I want." And in my brain, I'm like, I have never asked permission for anything in my life. I want this. God and I are in alignment. I'm going to go after it. And I
mm,
know that if it's meant for me, God's going to help me find a way to make it happen. And so to think that there are women, it was just woman after woman just sitting there for years waiting for someone to give them permission that they
mm-mm.
already have. You already have permission. You know, yeah. And there was just I think it was a week of coaching like 3 different women who were just like, I don't feel worthy. This word worthy.
Mm,
Then who are you looking to feel worthy? Who
right.
are you leaning on? Who's the judge of this? And really they're judging themselves. And
Mhm.
so getting them to switch their mindset of this skill and talent that you have, there are people waiting for you for your
Yeah.
skill. You have a power and a gift inside of you to help other people. And it was just a frustration that, oh my gosh, can't you see how amazing you are? And it really hit on me. I wonder
Mm.
if that's how God is.
Wow.
If he sees us holding ourselves back, like, don't you see how amazing? I made you so amazing. Look at all these gifts I put inside you.
Mhm.
And you're not using them. We're like, Lord, help me. He's like, I did. If you would just look inside yourself, there's brilliance and like so many things inside of you. And so it was like a week where like woman after woman after woman, I was like, you know what? I kept teaching the same thing over and over. And that's when I knew, okay, I've got to put this down in words. It was just that calling, that book, I need to
Yes.
put this in words. And I finally was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Okay, fine. I keep hearing you tell me I need to do this. And I just kind of gave up. I just threw my hands up. I was like, all right, Lord, you win. All right, fine.
Surrender. I completely
Surrender.
surrender.
Begrudgingly. I begrudgingly surrender. And that's how that started. And then afterwards, I was like, oh my God, I just agreed to write a book. Okay. And then I
Right.
was like, okay, Lord. I mean, my relationship with God is one where it is a wonderful friendship of, listen, you put this on my heart and I just agreed to do it. So I'm going to need a little extra of your time. I know you got a lot going on. There's a big world out there, but I'm leaning into this. So please guide me. Please guide
Yes.
me.
Right? I've been there. I've been there. And it's so terrifying at the same time because you feel the
Yes.
nudge of the Lord, like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention here. I'm
Hmm.
trying to, like, that's why I'm bringing you these women and knowing this is truly where I want you to tap in. Don't ignore it. I know you're trying to brush it off and like, no, it's me, it's not you, whatever it is a tap in your shoulder. Hey,
Yes.
hey, come. I want you here to go fishing here. I know you're trying to go
Yes.
this way to lay down your nets and go fishing, but that's not where I'm calling you. I'm calling you this way. And it's beautiful how the Lord just really guide you through that process and you completely surrender to his will. It's unfortunate that so many women feel unworthy of this. Their calling and their identity, they don't know who they are. They're struggling with their identity and they're putting their identity in performance and what they do in their business, etc. And money and family and relationships. And that kind of brings into that moment of who am I? Right? That
Mhm.
question. Yes, I have the success. I'm a high achieving woman. And I know you work with so many women and you coach them on their business. And that leads me to my next question is like many women, of course, they appear successful, but they, on the outside, but they struggle internally with imposter syndrome and self doubt. And what did your journey of building true confidence and not performing based confidence look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. You would be I think that a lot of women would feel really surprised about the insecurities of high achieving women.
Wow.
And I coach them. I coach multi-million dollar business owners, and here's the thing, I'm also humbled that I hold space for them to let down their guard and let them share their fears with me. Let them like I am scared of this, and they do have imposter syndrome because here's the thing, out in their normal world, they put that armor on. And
Mhm.
I am the boss woman, I'm making these decisions, excuse me. And they're very successful that way. But underneath that, we all doubt situations. We all doubt ourselves in certain moments. And to be the person that they can come to, like I am the only person that they share those things with. They don't share them with their spouse. They don't share it with their sister, their mom, their other business colleagues. That's part of what I do as a coach. I am not a therapist, but it's where they can say, "Hey, I want to reach these goals, but I'm really doubting myself right now."
Mm,
And then leaning on, and here's what I found that I have a special skill for, all from God, of course, is being able to ask them a series of questions. And those questions, they actually answer their own doubts, their own fears. And they can see, oh, I had a client call me incredibly successful. And I had texted her, she was supposed to do something. I text her and she was like, oh, just it's really bad. I'm having a tough time. And she never messages like that. And I'm like, call me. Jumped on a quick call and immediately was just, this happened and this and money and I can't pay this and this person is leaving me. I mean, it was just like, I would say like like vomiting
mhm,
all the problems. It was just everything. She was looking at everything all at one time. And within 10 minutes, I was able to get her to stop, breathe,
mhm.
look at it from a different point of view. And by the end of that 10-minute call, she was like, oh, girl, I got this. All right, I'm good. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking. And then she
Mhm.
was able to move forward. And so for me, what an honor that I get to be that role in that person's life.
Yes.
Because there is that thing of like that fake confidence and then the real confidence
Right.
of listen, that real confidence is, look, I'm going to try something and I might fail, but that failure has nothing to do with my value and my
Right.
worthiness. It means I tried something and I failed,
Mhm.
right? That
Right.
expectation sometimes we put on ourselves to not fail, understanding that if you want real success, it's on the back of failure. So we want
Mhm.
success, but we don't want to fail, but so we're stuck in this weird space.
Yes.
And so it's, building confidence, it is a skill. It's not something you're born with. Everybody's like, "Oh, Julie, I bet you were just confident from the beginning." Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. It's a skill. How can you build confidence? And that's
Mhm.
part of why I wrote this book because it literally is a practical strategy. And I talk about in the very first chapters how many people listening right now have actually written down what they really want in life.
Mm.
And you'd be amazed. You were there, like a room full of people. They're like, "Oh yeah, and maybe my fitness goals." But no, in every area, write down what you actually want. Get
Yes.
very clear
That
on
part.
that. Because here's what it does. It helps you understand in your life where to say yes and where to say no.
Right.
And that helps build your confidence. I have this opportunity over here. No, I know that's not in line with who I am or my values.
Mm,
So I can say no to that confidently, that I'm not missing out on an opportunity. In fact, that opportunity is not for me. It keeps you in line. Yes, it keeps you in line with what you want to do.
yes.
So, it is a skill that you can build. That's the great thing. And I have taken some of the most shy women that I have ever met, both on just Zoom calls and in person, and gotten them to where now they will walk around a room introducing themselves, speaking up confidently. And it's just, I mean, I have found where I would say my superpowers, but it's the gifts that God gave me. I've developed those. And this
Yes.
is I am truly living in my purpose.
Come on, listen, girl, you are preaching to the choir here because, wow, it's amazing how even in that moment of you seeing the trend, there was a trend with women that you were coming across that were struggling with self doubt in silence, and nobody knew, but you created that safe space for them that created healing and for them to be heard, not to be judged about what they were struggling with, but at the same time to be activated into a lioness and that they are meant to be to release their roar, to learn how to speak, how to communicate with boldness and confidence and not shrink back on who is in the room or not. Because I know a lot of women that will go into a room that probably are more successful than them, they are more wealthy than them, but they feel intimidated. They feel intimidated in who is in the room. And then the enemy, of course, is going to come and say, get out of here. You don't belong here. What are you doing here? And then you feel unqualified. You feel that, why am I wasting my time being here? And you feel overlooked. What can you say to those women to be able to know and walk in the room and own it as God called them to go into these rooms because He allowed them to be in the room, right? At the
Mhm,
table to feast with other women or entrepreneurs or businesswomen, multimillionaires.
mhm.
What can you say to them right now so that way they can know the next time they walk in the room or in the boardroom, they know they have been called for such a time as this?
Absolutely, and it is. It can be very intimidating to walk into a room that you don't know people. How do you make small talk? And so that's something I teach. It's called, network to build your net worth. But just in general, so again, there's one, two, three, four women. Part of growing your business is you got to go network. You got to go get face to face with people. It's incredibly powerful, and they're just scared to death. So here's like a little trick in the brain that I've gotten them to use, and I hope that this can resonate with some of your listeners. If they're scared, here's a way to get some of the pressure off yourself when you walk into a room. So let me ask you this: do you have people that maybe need help, that they would love a referral from you? They would trust, like, so for me, like, I have neighbors. Would they love if I could refer them a really great plumber or a really great hairdresser? Or, right? That's the network of people that I know and I use. So I will say, if you're going to your first networking event, your goal is not to talk about you. This isn't about you. So we can
Right.
take that pressure off,
So good.
right? What we're going to do is we're going to go in that room and we want to think about all the people we know. Who do you know that has a really amazing business that you would love to refer people to her or him? Who do
Mm-hmm.
you know that gosh, if you could meet someone, that does this part of business, oh wow. So when you walk into a room, you're searching for people to connect with your people. Right?
Mm.
It's not about you. You'll be like, "Oh, well, I'm a hairdresser." Okay, but it's nice to meet you. But tell me about you. Because are you what you've got a hairdressing business? Great. My friend is looking for a new salon. Can I get your card?
I love that.
Do you see how it takes the pressure off you? You're going there to meet as many people as you can for your network,
Yes.
right? So someone
So good.
and so I've done that like 3 or 4 times now and gotten women to walk into rooms and they're like, "Oh, that made it so much easier, like, the pressure," and I said, "We're not gonna even talk about, like, the words you say, we're gonna be like, 'Oh, my name's Sarah, and I'm a hairdresser.'" You can just say that, That's not what you would
Right.
say normally. But in
Mhm.
this first instance, you're going there on a mission to collect contacts for your network, the people that you love and care about,
Mhm.
right? And that's a great way to just quit thinking about you
Yes. Yeah,
and think
yeah.
about, do you want to help your network? You want to help the people you know and you love? Yes, I do. Okay, well, go find some great customers for the people that you know. Again, and that's a great way when you first step in to do that.
Mm.
And once you get in those rooms, then the next meeting is easy and then it just becomes easier. But that's a first step to kind of like crack that first meeting open. And also, if you can go with a friend, it's always good to go
Yes.
with a friend.
Mm.
I've taken a client before locally where I live, and she was like, I've never been to an event. I'm scared to death. So scared that I was like, I'm going to come pick you up because I'm afraid you're not going to actually attend. And she lost her voice the night before. She
No.
Her fear manifested losing her voice. So I said,
Mm.
don't worry, I will be your wing woman. We went to the event and walked around, and I'm like, oh, hi, I'm Julie. This is so and so. This is her business. She lost her voice, poor thing. This is what her business is. I use her services. She's amazing. And just walked around the room kind of as her spokesperson. But by the end of the event, she was on the other side of the room, softly talking with people. And when we got
Yes.
back in the car to take her back, she said, Julie, I didn't know that's what it would be like. Thank you so much
Amazing.
for making me go. And long story short, now I'll be like, are you going to this? She's like, I'm going to this event. And she is just running the show, walking, talking. And like the fact that I could be that one step for her, again, it's such an honor to get to do what I do.
Hey, Queen, if you're loving this episode, I want to personally invite you to go deeper because healing doesn't happen in isolation, it happens in community. That's why I created the Roar and Reign Collective School Community, a sacred space for high achieving women who are ready to break free from fear, heal from the inside out, and walk boldly into their femininity, confidence, and calling. Inside, you'll connect with women just like you, women who are tired of doing it alone, who desire real sisterhood, and who are ready to rise into everything God created them to be. Every month, you get access to live coaching calls with me, workshops, healing sessions, and exclusive invites to our VIP luxury podcast pop ups, where we take this movement off the mic and into real life. Because healing is the new luxury and your wholeness is your greatest wealth. So, if you're ready to step into your royal identity, build authentic community, and grow with women who roar and reign beside you, make sure to sign up today. You can join us now at clicking in the link in the show notes or description box. And I cannot wait to welcome you inside, Queen. That is so beautiful. Beautiful that you are. I can see you as being a midwife to all the women that you're serving to push them, like push the vision, push the dream that is within you to give birth to this baby and to unlock the woman within that has been sleeping, that has been silenced for so long, and be a voice. And it's beautiful how you actually walk them through the process, the journey, because you've been through it. And you also been through the breakthroughs because, like you mentioned, you were not confident your whole life. You were not born confident. And how God is using that breakthrough moment because you have to go through a process. You have to go through the journey. And to get to this point, now other women are being blessed with that fresh oil that you are actually giving women. And it reminds me of the gift of the talents. The talents, the faithful ones that steward their talents. But that was one person that had one bag of money, one talent, and he hid it underground because of fear. Because of fear, what would happen if they lose that one? And the owner comes back and like, okay, what happens? And because of fear, it was nothing done. It was not multiplied. But it's also how you're going to multiply your gifts and your talents in that aspect and honor the Lord and honor the woman to walk in true freedom. I know that you mentioned this a lot in your book about how to really walk in unapologetically yourself in this full boldness and then walking into this aspect of walking into area regardless of what area you're being called or being author or speaker. So, how do you personally stay grounded in your faith and feminine identity while leading powerfully in your business?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. Is, I am really good at setting boundaries.
Mm,
And so one of the chapters in my book is called Just Say No.
come on now, speak
And
on it.
it's and I teach this to both men and women of no is a complete sentence and you are allowed to say no. And when I hear women, but I feel bad. Why do you feel bad? Here's the thing. If your friends and family truly care about you, they will not want you overextending yourself, overgiving yourself,
Mhm,
putting them first and sacrificing your own health and well being. They really
mhm,
wouldn't want that. If you have people in your life that you are saying no, or I can't be present for that, and they get upset, there's a reality check here that they
right.
are not looking after your best interests. They're looking at how you're showing up for them in their lives.
Mhm,
So, who are they thinking about only?
mhm,
Themselves. And so, part of the thing that I teach too is women, they're like, yes, I want to set boundaries. I want to say no, but they don't know how. And so some of the ways that I teach that are how can we say no, but in
right.
a way that is kind, right? That you feel
Mhm,
kind. And some of those words can simply be, you know what? I appreciate the offer, but I'm not available. You're still saying no,
mhm,
right? Or you could say, oh, you know what? I'm not available that day, but you know what? Jenny's available. Why don't you? Jenny loves, she volunteers a lot. I think she'd be a great person. She's really good at what you're asking.
yes, right.
Give an alternative person. Then you feel like you're giving something,
Mhm,
right? And yes, in my feminine power, it can be a very masculine power. I'm going out, I'm teaching sales and
yeah.
marketing, and it's very logical, right? Business is not emotional, it is logical. We build our business due to some really purpose, and that's emotion. But the actual
Mhm,
strategy and processes of a business are all logical. And so, how do
mhm,
you balance that? And for me, it's making sure that I take care of myself, right?
yes,
It's the
right.
ultimate success of making sure that I care for myself. When was the last time? And I have checklist. How did I care for myself today? Did
Mm,
I did I give myself like a quiet time break when I felt overwhelmed? It's like, where did I show kindness to myself? And for me, that feels like a very feminine trait of showing kindness to
yes.
myself. When I get hard on myself and I'm like, come on, we got to do more. We got to go. We got to go. Sometimes pausing and,
Mhm,
okay, all right, I know we're pushing ourselves, but let's show a little love here. Let's show a little, appreciation for what we have done. Um, and really, again, just taking care of yourself, of making sure you're putting you on the same level you're putting everyone else. Because
mhm,
here again, here's the thing. My kids do not want the stressed out, angry version of mommy.
mhm,
And that's not the mom that I want to be.
right.
And I have a husband of 20 years who I adore. I don't want to show up as the angry, stressed out wife. And
Mhm,
so how do I do that? I set boundaries so that I don't overwhelm myself. This is where so many women are like, but I have to do this for this person. I'm like, have to? Or
really?
really? Yeah. So that is something I teach with a lot of women. And again, it's not easy, but you have to start with intention. Being
Mhm.
intentional about the things that you do is really, really important.
Yes, and I also like about the boundaries part because I know a lot of women struggle with saying no. And I was there before, and the Lord did a deep work in me, girl, because I would say yes to everybody. I would say yes to everybody. People pleasing
Mhm.
was real in my life, but thanks be to God that is broken because it's truly that pressure that I have to be there for everybody else, but then put myself last. Overcommitting is a real thing. Overcommitting and saying yes when you should have said no. And I know the feeling of guilt and I don't want to offend this person, But I love
Mhm.
the way you mentioned on how to say no in other ways that is saying yes to yourself and saying yes to something else that probably God is calling you to do. Probably more in alignment to what your God is calling you right now to do and not overdo it, but really focus on yourself because the residue, the consequences of the family, the children, it can just be so much.
Yeah, and so setting boundaries, I would say, is the one of the biggest forms of self-respect.
Mhm.
And so if you're not setting boundaries for your then you're not even respecting yourself. So how do you expect other people to respect you? Right? So if
Mhm.
you're someone that you feel like a lot of people are disrespecting you or taking advantage of you or not grateful for what you're doing, that to me is a sign. Okay, let's reevaluate. Where am I not setting boundaries for my time, my energy, my
Right.
spirit? And it can be done. And can it be a little uncomfortable? Yes. But again, the people that will get upset of you setting boundaries is because they're thinking about themselves and how you show up for them, not what you
Mhm.
actually need.
Mhm. It's also exposing those that are for you or against you.
Amen.
Because that's so important to pray, like to God to provide the people around you that's going to encourage you, that's going to celebrate you, that's going to push you towards more closer to Him and to the dream, the vision, and not impart fear or envy and jealousy. And it makes me think as well for a lot of women that has a lot of trauma with
Hmm.
friendships,
Hmm.
with women that have not have an experience of really being betrayed or rejected or backstab because they trusted on this person and now they have a hard time trusting other people in this aspect, and it makes them also affect their identity and their self-esteem and their confidence. What can you say to women that have experienced this type of trauma, betrayer? And I can see this happening a lot in high achieving women and any women in general that are successful in business and entrepreneur and they experience this. What can you tell them and advise and encourage them?
Yeah, it is. Like if you have felt betrayed by somebody close to you, here's the thing. The only people that can betray you are the people that are closest to you. The devil is not going to use some outside force that has no effect on you. They're going to try to get someone that is as close to you as possible before he drops the hammer. And
Mm,
it's hard, like they say, empires are destroyed from within. And that's what we are trying to protect. I would say that how do you protect the house? It's who you surround yourself with is incredibly important. Okay, here's a few red flags. When you're around someone and they are complaining a lot, number one red flag. Do they complain a lot? Listen, we all have bad days. Let me hear you. We all have bad
mhm,
days.
mhm.
I didn't I didn't sleep well, I didn't eat well, something else happened. We understand, right? And you have a friend, they kind of like let that out,
Right.
but it's the chronic complaining and it's that victim mentality.
Mm,
We need to be aware of that because,
yes.
okay, when someone's feeling bad for themselves, okay, I'm with you, but let's focus on the solution. I hear you. That must have been tough. I'm going to have empathy for you, but I don't have sympathy because you are not a victim. So if
Mm,
you're doing that whole I'm poor me thing, that's a red flag for friends. When I hear someone that is like, well, I was offended by this or I was offended by that, that tells me that a person is not emotionally mature
mm,
because they are literally giving their power of their emotions away to other people. Why would you
yeah.
ever do that?
Right.
Here's the thing, and it's a reflection too. If you are someone who's constantly offended by what other people say and do, that would tell me there's some internal work to do there,
Right.
right? Because what that actually is you're giving your power away for no reason. Like you could say anything to me, you cannot offend me. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
I'm not going to give you, it may be like, oh, well, that wasn't very kind and that hurt a little bit, but truly offended and upset, yeah, I don't give my power away. And so being very mindful of who you let into your life.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, I have been married for 20 years. I've been with my husband for 23. And everyone says, what's the secret to a long marriage? Protecting it, absolutely
Come
nurturing
on
it,
now.
protecting it. What does that look like? When I would get around women and they start just ripping on their husbands about how terrible they are, I'm like, I gotta go bye. Listen, here's the thing. Is my husband perfect? No, but neither am I. If I have a problem with him, then I will go speak with him about it.
Yes.
That is between myself and him and the Lord. That relationship does not need anyone else's feedback in there. And so that's how, is by making sure we're protecting that positive space, because it's very easy to be like, "Oh, well, he doesn't do this," or comparison. "Oh, well, you know, that woman, her husband takes her on vacation every month and brings her flowers every Friday," and compare, compare, compare.
Mhm.
Focus on what you have and how do I make what I have grow and make it better, right? So those are just some of the flat red flags as far as who you let into your life.
Yeah.
I remember living in Miami, and I admit it was really hard to live there. We actually moved because I just could not find, and I'm sure they exist somewhere. I couldn't find a great group of women that A, loved God, B, loved their husbands, and C, loved their kids. I mean, granted, yes, I love having a break. Every mom does, but I truly love spending time with my children. They're the most
Mhm.
amazing little humans. And when you get around women that are just like, oh my God, I'm so glad they're gone. They're driving me crazy. Okay. Like, yeah, I get kids can drive you crazy, but then they continue and then they continue and they continue
Mm.
to put them down. I was like, you know what? I don't know that we're going to be able to hang out that much. You
Mhm.
know, so those are just some of the things I would say about those betrayals, those jealousy is it is. You do have to be careful. My inner circle
Yes.
is incredibly small. And here's one of the most challenging parts, that sometimes you want to have some family members as that inner circle, and
Speak on it. Speak on it.
they do not belong there. It's okay.
Mm-mm.
Yes, they are your family, but absolutely not. They do not need to get full access to you. It's okay to distance yourself. It
Right.
is okay to distance yourself from family members who are not positive, who are not faithful, who are
Mm.
not feeding joy into you. Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in the world does it say that yes, you must keep this negative person in your daily life. Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Now we the Bible doesn't, we love our enemies, absolutely. We love those that sin against us, absolutely. But that doesn't mean I need to have them in my house every day.
Listen, and when I tell you, when I tell you, you hit the nail right there because,
I can see it, like, girl, yeah, you don't even know what you're saying. Yeah, I do. I do.
girl, yes, because I even realized, even from my own personal experience, like born and raised in New York, you think you're gonna be there your whole life, ride or die. Your family, friends are there. You want to take them with you
Mhm.
to the next journey, to the promised land, to the place the Lord is calling you to go next. But you try to drag them, you try to push, like take them with you, but it's like no,
Mhm.
you can't force anybody to go to the next level with you. And sometimes there's people that's holding you back to go to the elevation, to the next level that God is calling you. And I know it's a sacrifice to even friendships that have been years, childhood friends and high school friends and family that you love, of course. And but at the same time, not everybody is allowed to go in the boat with you
Mhm.
and have that inner circle that you really trust, that the prayer warriors that you know you can call and that you feel safe and not feel judged for dreaming big. And it also makes me think about having discernment and who to share your visions and your dreams with, because not everybody's going to support you. If anything, they're going to project fear instead of
Absolutely.
faith.
Absolutely. And, again, a quote in the book was by Sarah Blakely, who, as we know, the creator of Spanx, built a $1 billion company. And she says this, that early on, she didn't tell anyone what she was doing. This was a woman that was selling fax machines door to door, and she was trying to build this business. Why? Because when you first have this idea, it's like, imagine fragile, like little glass ball. And it's so fragile
Mhm.
that it's so easily crushed. And here's the thing about the people that are closest to you. They care about you. And so a lot of times the advice they give is not necessarily meant to be as unsupportive, right? So my last name is Gracey. I would say give people grace. Give
Mm.
people grace that you're expecting them to completely understand your vision and what is on your heart. It is not on their heart. They cannot see that vision as clearly as you do. And
Yeah.
so give them grace when they're like, "Oh, I think that's a bad idea." Okay. Like sometimes we get offended and we get upset like, "Well, I don't know why they don't support me."
Right.
That is not the person that you go to for that support. For example,
Mm-mm.
I have a variety of friends for different purposes in my life, right? For example, I adore my husband. He is my best friend. We have 2 children together, but he is not the person I turn to for everything. When I want to talk about my business and entrepreneurship and this and marketing and social, he'll sit there and nod and smile and because he's a polite man and he loves me. But that's not his business at all. He works
Mhm.
in corporate America. He's like, "I support you, babe, but did you what how can I help you?"
Uh-huh.
That's not who I go to. I go to my business friends who are in the same boat with me in that space, right? If I go to, let's say, my mom and I'm talking about, "Oh, I'm trying to, you know, do this in my business." And she's like, "Okay, honey." Like that's not right. So we need to give some grace to the people that are around us that they don't have this
Yes.
vision. So go
Right.
share those dreams and those ideas with people that also have similar, like if I said, like my goal is to build a business that it was worth over $10 million. If you tell that to the wrong people, what is their feedback? Why would you want that? That is way too much. That's greedy.
Yep.
That's all of those type of things because they don't have that vision. But I walk into a room full of multimillionaire business owners and I say, it's my dream to grow my business to be worth over 10 million. They're like, 10 million? Well, why not 100?
Listen, yup,
True,
yup.
true story, true story. So it depends on where you share that. So I would just say when it comes to friends and family, first of all, give them grace. And then maybe that's not who you share all those details with. It's like, yep, I'm running my
Mhm.
business. Yep, it's good. And you just kind of surface level it because they're not going to give you the feedback. They're not experts in that space.
Exactly. Girl, you preaching over here, okay? I love it. Yes. This conversation is so good. And I know we're running out of time. But before we wrap up, I want to ask you this last question. And I know we speaking about business and making $1 million and multi-million dollars, and you work with women, helping them achieve that and build an empire, a personal brand. What's one mindset shift that you believe turns a woman from simply doing business into building an impactful, purpose driven brand and empire?
Yeah. Here's the thing. If we are truly women of God, if we truly believe that he has a purpose and a plan for us, then we do have to listen to that inner calling. But here's the thing. I like to say, God can't steer a parked car.
Mm,
You have to take action.
mm-hmm.
He's like, look, I put air in your lungs this morning. I put all those gifts deep inside you, but he can't steer you if you don't move.
Right.
And so I like to use the analogy if you've ever sat back like on the backside of a golf cart. So you're staring at where you've been. Somebody else is driving. And I like to think God's driving that golf cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really clear when you look back on the lessons, the challenges, the hurt, the all of those things, it's really clear why those happened and what direction it was going. But
Mm,
you can't see where you're headed now. You have to have faith that God is driving you where you're supposed to go and do the things that you're called. Like you have to take the action, right? He's like, look, I'm trying to take you where you go, but you're not moving, right? And so,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes, he's going to take you off road. He's going to take you down the sand traps. He's going to take you, bumping through, the trees, and you're like, oh, this seems uncomfortable. But if we
Mhm.
truly have faith, he's taken us, all roads lead to Rome.
Mhm.
And so, but you must take action. And here's the thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know how. Instead of always, I don't know how to do something, turn that into a who. Who can help me?
Yes.
For example, I want to start a podcast. I don't even know where to begin. Okay. There's this great thing called YouTube. You can go and say, how do I start a podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes your mentor is somebody on the internet. Sometimes your mentor is watching a video. I mean, I know I've watched so many people in health and business that I've never even met. I've never met them, and they've taught me so much, right? And then maybe it's okay. Now I have a concept, but maybe I could go get a mentor here in this area. And it's just those baby steps. I didn't go from a poor farm girl in the middle of the Midwest to a multi-million dollar business owner speaking on huge stages. That wasn't like a straight line. It wasn't a straight. There was so many struggles and turns along the way, but I had faith and I kept moving forward.
Wow.
That's the most
Mhm.
important thing, because the last thing we want to do is go to our grave and not have used the gifts that God gave us. I mean,
Right.
think about this. How many people, we always say when you pass a graveyard, how many gifts are
Mhm.
buried in there? Right? And so last thing is, think of all the people that have supported you. For me, I had amazing parents. I was very blessed that way. That sacrificed and poured into me hours of, if you're a mom, the hours you pour into your children and helping them and guiding them. For me, for all of my parents, all of their and my pastors, my coaches, my teachers, everything that they have poured into me all my life, to not then go and continue to share those gifts with the world. For me, that seems
Yes.
very selfish. It's
Yeah.
very selfish. No, I'm going to keep all that I learned for myself. I'm going to keep it all inside because I'm afraid somebody won't like it. Like
Mm.
when you put it that way, it's almost like I would feel ashamed myself
Right.
if I didn't do this. But again, it's just you have to take action. It can seem scary, but you can do things scared. Remember, when you're like, I'm scared to do this,
Mhm.
that's okay. You can do things scared. You really can.
Yes, girl, if I tell you the many times that I do things scared, even when it doesn't
Hmm.
make any sense, and once I do it, it's like, well, it wasn't that bad. Like, God just took care of it, and He just led me to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave you if you need like, okay, we have faith, God's got us, but let me give you a statistical fact. This is a statistical fact by all the really smart people. 97% of the things that we worry about never happen.
Mm.
Let that sink in. I love that fact so much. I put it in my book because when I start to
Yes.
worry, okay, God's got me. I know He does, but I'm still worried.
Put it on a sticky note.
97% of the things people worry about, so don't actually happen. Okay. Okay, well, 3% is a really low number. I mean, even divorce is like 50%, and I've been married for 20 years, so I like my odds. Okay. You kind of just walk yourself through that. So,
I love that. And thank you for sharing that statistic because that even relieves the pressure of the
yeah.
perfectionism of like it has to
Yes.
be perfect. It has to go this way before I do anything. The colors gotta be right. The background gotta be right. No, just what you have in your hands and move forward. And even learning how to invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself, oh, you will reap a harvest. You will reap what you sowed. And let me tell you, to all the listeners, you are worth to invest in yourself. And I
Amen.
want you to also share, Julie, how the audience can connect with you, what's exciting happening in your business next, and how people can really partner with you or collaborate or even work with you.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I wrote this book so I could reach more people. And I would say, what's the first step? If there's a listener out there and they're like, look, I want to do this, or I'm stuck, or I'm frustrated, and there's dreams that I have that I haven't realized, and I just don't know how to get started. That's exactly why I wrote this book. You can find it on Amazon. It's called Highly Confident. That is where you start. And the cool thing about what's inside of here is there's a QR code. When you scan that, it's actually going to take you to a training with me. And there's an entire framework and process, and I walk through it with you. And this is the same thing that I taught Jenifer when we were at the event together. It's the same thing
Mhm.
I teach roomfuls of business owners. It's the exact same training, and it's going to give you clarity to write down what you actually want. And that's the start. That is the start. Now, I definitely have programs for business, going on camera. How do I speak? What do I say? I have coaching programs. So, obviously, connecting me on social media is the best way to keep up. But I would say for anyone out there, it seems a little scary. I'm not confident. Here's a really safe thing to do: buy the book, read through it, and start applying what's in there, because it is the same thing that I teach my multi-million-dollar business owners. And you can do this safely in the privacy of your own home. And just know that I don't know you. I want to know you. And if you need my help, I am here. I am here. I want you to not feel alone. Ultimately, that you are not alone. There is support out there, and I would love to be one to support you.
Beautiful. That is phenomenal. Thank you so much, Julie, for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your expertise, and imparting all to the ladies, the queens that are listening, the impartation of confidence and boldness to really walk in their purpose and their calling and really be obedient to what the Lord is calling them to do. So, ladies, check out her book. It's going to be on Amazon. All her information will be on the notes on this episode. Make sure to connect with her as well on social media. And thank you again, Julie, for being on the show, which has been fantastic. And it was such a fun conversation. And it really spoke to me so much in my season right now to really stay focused and not look on the sideway, not look backwards, but stay focused on the goal, especially on the last quarter of the year, because this is the time not to waste, to really walk in your full potential. So thank you, Julie. And thank you, all ladies, all the queens that are listening. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to come out of hiding and release your roar. I'll see you on the next one.